Okay, we are live. Liam, big day for you today, huh? Is this the biggest Spurs? Is this the biggest Spurs game in a while?
The biggest Spurs game probably since 2018, Game 7 against Denver in the playoffs, round 1. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, Bryn Forbes, Marco Bellinelli, Patty Mills, Rudy Gay. That era of the Spurs. So yeah, probably biggest. I mean, it's just the NBA Cup though, but still, like, it's good to like. You'd rather be playing it than not, if you get what I mean.
No, yeah, for sure, dude, for sure. Yeah, I agree. No, it is. The cup matters, you know. It's like, especially for these younger teams, you know. Like, I mean, OKC, I think that they're probably just like trying to like win fucking everything, you know. So they're gonna be going hard for this too. But yeah, you could tell it meant something to the Raptors, even though they kind of got their asses kicked. You know, just like these fringe teams like the Spurs, man. You know, just like that have like, you know, they're not gonna win a chip, so you know.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Playing, bro.
I think every team's technically a fringe team as long as OKC exists, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's facts, dude. Unless you're in the East and like you can at least say like, oh yeah, we're in the finals, though.
True.
Okay, Liam, do you want to know what the play is? SGA to score 20 plus points. You just do regular season. You know, this isn't. I guess is this a regular season game? I think it technically is, right? It'll be in the books. Dude, Liam, look at this too. So he actually has like a game. So I think he's on a streak of 95 with 20 or more points. If you like max this games out, it's literally one. Hold up, I'm still going. Jeez. 167 out of 164. But if you go to like the Gold Thunder, you take Jay Giddey off the court. Dude, like 100 out of the last 101 over the last 3 years. Dude, I'm not
even kidding. Who's the game against that he missed?
It was the Spurs.
Oh, yes.
Wow, dude, you guys. That was in 24, so that was with Wemby. Is that like the first game of the year or something, or no? Do you remember that game? He only played 28 minutes in a 12-point win, which is weird.
What was the date?
10/30/20. So that was last September.
So the start of last season.
Yeah.
We beat them in a game like no, I actually do remember that game. Was it their home or our home?
It was their home.
No, I do remember that. That same game when we did not play well. I actually vividly remember that. They were very aggressive against him. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, okay.
These guys
makes sense. Victor's gonna have to step in and save us again sometime.
That's a small win for us.
Well, Liam, let's address the obvious here, right? Devin Booker is indeed out. So let's start off by talking about some of the Suns stuff. What's your opinion on how, you know, Allen's going to be defended in pick and roll handoff stuff? How Brooks is going to be defended?
I mean, I think they're just going to switch everything, and they're just going to do what they always do. They're going to play really aggressive on-ball defense. That, I mean, we can have a chat about this later, which is interesting, but Thunder play defense. Thunder sort of have a different set of rules compared to every other team in the comp, but they make their own luck with that by the way they play. That I actually think it's sort of right. Like the way they get officiated is the way I'd love to see the whole league get officiated, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, I think they're just going to be really, really physical with these guys. Phoenix have a projected team total of 102.5. Which in this modern NBA, that's nothing. So, me personally, when I'm betting Thunder games, I find it really hard to find bets in them because of the way I do things. I do my handmade projections and all that. And they're always favored by more than 10 points. So, whenever that's the case for me, I always lower players' minutes by 3 or 4. And I also lower efficiency against OKC by a couple % just because the shot quality you're going to be getting in the minutes you play for on-ball guys is not good. And then that always leaves me with my numbers very similar to the books. And I feel like the books have got really good at adjusting to OKC's opponents. Like Dylan Brooks has a points line in this game of 20.5 points. He's got like a 35% usage rate with Booker off the floor. So, I mean, 35% usage rate and a 20.5 points line. sounds crazy, but sort of makes sense because like you lower his minutes, it's a 15.5 point spread. You lower his efficiency down to what it'll likely be with him being defended by these guys, and sort of makes sense. So yeah, I think OKC will do what they always do. Really physical on-ball stuff. I don't think they'll give up as much spot-up stuff today because I don't really think you need to sell out to anyone.
Yeah. They won't get beat off the dribble by like Dylan Brooks is not beating like J-Dub or Lou Dort off the bounce. Neither is Allen or Gillespie. I think Chet, maybe they'll give up some spot ups. I do think when they do like handoff stuff with Allen, which is I noticed they do a lot of that with Allen. They did at least against the Wolves, and I guess it's 5% of his points, but maybe some of that stuff gets registered as like a handler or something. I do think they're gonna like play up on those because like you don't want to like let Allen like walk into threes when you're like a good defensive team and stuff. They're gonna go over they're gonna go over the screens and probably try to get into it. Liam, do you know what this would be a good game for? I don't know like turnover props for like Allen and like Gillespie and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a good call for anyone who bets that sort of stuff. That is a really good call.
But do you have are you under nothing with like the Brookses, the Allens, and the Gillespies of the world, even at these numbers?
Yeah, I'm gonna play PRA on them likely. I need to finish my stuff because the books have adjusted to it. Like 24.5 PRA line for Gillespie starting as a point guard. It seems low, but then when you do the stuff of like, all right, you have him for like 34 minutes, you bring it down to 30 minutes, and even then I've actually got him at 28. Just because it's a 15.5 point spread, projected team total of 102.5. I do that stuff, and my thing right now actually has him at 22. So that's a borderline bet for me, but I'm probably going to play it just because it's I think there's a higher chance than not that he plays less than 28 minutes than plays higher than 28 minutes, just based off. I mean, the spread's fucking 15.5 points or something, and I saw a interview with Chet this morning by one of the beat writers, and Chet was talking about how they're like really fucking locked into this, and they lost, I think, the last one he said, but they're really like they've talked about how they really want to win this. So you're not going to get OKC coming out bullshitting, even though they never do. Like they're always playing really fucking hard, but especially not tonight.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think it's pretty much under nothing, guys. I want to give a shout to an over that I do think is a pretty good look. I kind of like Jordan Goodwin stuff. Not saying that they're going to give up a ton of spot up looks, but if you do like with Allen without Booker, there's been 2 games. He's played 22 in a blowout loss to Houston, and then in a competitive game, he did play 26 minutes. So I'd probably have him at at 23 or something like that. Because I think he does get garbage time too, if I'm not mistaken.
It'll be garbage time will be Malowach, Fleming, Hayes Davis, Bouyer, and then probably either Dunn or Goodwin.
Yeah, one of the two. But this is Goodwin with 20 to 26 minutes. And against OKC, I'm sure he probably benefited a little bit from Booker's gravity, maybe for his field goal attempts. But he did honestly have really good volume, Liam. Like 13 shot attempts, 5 threes, 4 free throws.
Well, he's a guy you can leave open because he's not a good shooter.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a guy.
Yeah. So when he's like, he makes sense as a guy that in his minutes, he can be good. And honestly, I think he might be their best, other than Brooks, who, by the way, Brooks, massive chance of getting in foul trouble here. With Brooks, except for Brooks, I think he's like the guy that would be left open, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Oh, he's for sure going to be the guy. Or if Dunn's in, Dunn will probably get up a couple threes, I guess. But yeah, I think that they're both pretty interesting. Liam, I do want to share one more thought I have. First of all, I know it's like, we all think that it's a blowout and stuff. Anytime Shea creeps down to this 30.5 range, and you can probably, because I think you do need to get that 30 with Shea. He's clearly chasing a milestone when he some games, if you can get the Shea 30 plus and then pair it with something alt, not saying I don't know if any of these Suns guys are safe or anything, but if you have an alt that you have strong conviction with, Liam, do you have an opinion on that?
I think a 30 plus SGA, and what if you put that with an alt OKC spread?
Like what? Like OKC money line? Like OKC money line and Shea 30?
Yeah, but I don't think that'd get you great odds. I'd say like -5.5 OKC.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I'd be shocked if they lost by. I'd be shocked if they don't win by at least 10. So okay.
They're an actual juggernaut.
Yeah, no, they're absurd. They're absurd.
And the thing I love about it is it's not an offensive juggernaut because it's a defensive juggernaut. That's every night. Like that's something you can control. Whereas, you've seen really good offensive teams where they'll have a game they lose because they shoot 25% from three. These guys aren't even good at shooting from three. Like they're bad. And
their defense.
Just their defense every single night's the exact same thing, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yep. So I'm looking at the chat, and I saw someone said something that I agree with, and I want to make one last opinion, guys, and keep this stuff in the chat going because we'll get to the questions in the chat. We're just giving our breakdown first. But so Chet, now that he's at 16.5, I do kind of like that. I went back and watched a little bit of this tape, and so I was also looking at threes. Mark Williams, like with his little drop coverage, and he's just not a great defender to begin with. He really struggled guarding Chet. Someone made a good point that without Hartenstein, him playing at the 5, like getting guarded by a 5, is like very advantageous on offense, and I would absolutely tend to agree with that. I mean, the only game he had 15 points was 23 minutes. Not saying that's not in the range of outcomes here. Definitely is, but definitely like him at the 5 more. William also, especially at this plus 143 at Novig. I just went back and watched the tape, and he got up 5 threes. And I will say, it's like you go back and watch the threes, and you're like, oh, that's like off an offensive rebound. That's like pretty fluky, right? Like they were pretty much, I think 4 of the 5 were from pick and roll actions with Mark, dropping and then leaving the pop open. So That is something I have a decent lean on. Do you have any chat thoughts?
No, I saw that as well. I like that. If you've got 365, his attempts would probably be like 3, 4. I like that as well. Let me take a look.
If it would be 3.5, I'd really like that.
It is 3.5. Yeah, -125 over 3.5.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. So that was the first comment of the day. Loving Chet play center. He is so good. Yep, exactly. That's a great shout, dude. What's going on, Shoto? How we doing? Much love from the sack. Gotta love the sack. Shea 25 plus and Gillespie under 5.5 assists. I like that a ton. So as you guys know, if you guys watch, I have like a terrible number going on right now with Gillespie on his assists at under 4.5. It's getting plus money now, but I still he's played 2 games without Booker, and with that being said, they have been against like good teams, but he's had 5 potentials against Houston. 5 potentials against Minnesota. I don't think in OKC in a game where they're locked in is a much better matchup than that. So you're getting under 5.5. No, I think that makes a ton of sense. And also like the minute point that Liam made of just the high blow probability and stuff. So you have Caruso. Would Booker being ruled out? Yeah. So Liam, this is an edge that you kind of like put me onto a little bit ago, but you want to talk about Alex Caruso for a little bit?
Yeah. And so he's a guy that when he's out there, obviously he's always trying on the defensive end, but I think it's a mixture of in games they win by a lot. This season, especially at the start of the season, he's been out for a while. When was the last time you played, Kai?
November 28th. So
yeah, about two weeks ago. At the start of the year, I was betting his overs in games that were meant to be competitive. So I think I did one against the Clippers, against the Rockets that was meant to be competitive. And then they would slightly raise his lines for games where OKC were big favorites. Like they did it against Washington where he only played 17 minutes. Against the Kings and Grizzlies, big wins, low 20s. Against the Lakers, they won by 30. Warriors, they won by 24. He played 15 and 17 minutes. I think he got injured against Hornets. But he's been playing low minutes because like mid-teen minutes, you look at against Utah, Portland, he played 18 and 14 minutes. They won both those games by 27. But by the way, I'm like the margins they win by are fucking outrageous. But anyways, against Phoenix, they won by 4 and he played 24 minutes that game. So there's actually a correlation between like games that are close, he plays more, but games are sort of that are projected to be close, He plays more games than aren't. He plays less, but I think his PRA today, I think, is pretty fair. 9.5. Like I'd consider an under at 11.5 or 10.5, but yeah, this number seems fair. But he shouldn't. I don't think.
I would like more bookers in for sure. Just give it a better chance at a competitive game. Give it more reason for him to be out there. And like, to be honest, I kind of think that Caruso probably wasn't even really hurt that much. The Thunders have absolutely no reason not to like give Unk some rest, especially if he has a little bruise here and there, So I wouldn't be shocked if he's like damn near 100%. Same with like Dort, to be honest, dude. Like they just have no reason to like rush literally anything. So, Luka, we'll get to that in a little bit. Mark Williams. So honestly, this line was such like a gem last time. He did have a good game against OKC. I do think that like them without Hartenstein definitely makes them a little bit more vulnerable. But Liam, what are you thinking at this number now? At the 20 and a half, 21 and a half?
This is fair. I think this is fair because me and you talked about this yesterday. It was 17.5 yesterday or something. And now it's way higher, obviously. I struggle betting any overs against OKC in any game for starters, just because the way I do my thing, the minutes all come down, and once you do that, I don't really ever have an edge on the line. And I feel like the books adjust the lines enough, whereas I never really get any unders that are like clear plays for me. So what do you have in minutes-wise here, Ty?
I probably have him 27 in a competitive, 27 or 28 in a competitive. That's kind of usually where he is. And, Mark Williams is a guy I think I'd probably have him at like 23, 24.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, look at this season when he plays like, I don't know, 25, 26 minutes or less.
So like 26 too. Yeah.
So I wouldn't bet the over, although I don't mind. Yeah. I don't
think the matchup is as bad as like it looks on paper personally, but yeah, I probably wouldn't take it.
It's just fucking hard to play overs against these guys.
Real quick, guys, we'll get to the rest of some of the more questions, and then we'll get over to the Spurs game. Real quick though, guys, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to drop a like on the stream. Make sure to sub to the channel if you're not already. It's all just like small little things that go a long way to helping the channel grow and stuff like that. So if you do like this content, just make sure to tap that little like button. We got one from Eric. This is my boy from Minnesota. He's a Thunder fan out in Minnesota, just talking shit nonstop. Bet on the white.
Lucky him.
What?
I said lucky him.
Yeah, he just bandwagoned KD and then yeah. Okay, Brooks under 21.5. Yep, we agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, no, he is. This is a really good spot for Chet. I wonder what his like first quarter points is. I don't even think that would be like terrible. I don't like the first quarter. You're subjecting yourself to a lot of variance for sure, but like 4.5 at plus money, dude. Like that does not sound that bad. Actually, he's kind of been playing weird minutes with Isaiah out, but Dunn gonna be left wide open. Yep, we agree on that. Ranche wanted Booker to keep it more competitive for sure. Okay. Chet free throws. I do not have an opinion on that. Dort. I don't know, man. So Liam, one thing too, I guess we should probably touch on before we move on is that Shea. I went back and watched like Shea's shot attempts and like the doubling and the gap was like not super aggressive like it typically is. And same with that's how they guarded Ant. Like Ant had like 240 balls on them. I think Luka recently had 38 points in 32 minutes against them in a game with LeBron and Reeves. They're really not too aggressive against like top guys. So I mean,
no, they're not. They're not. The thing that I find hard with SGA is like his percentages this season are so good that I always put them a bit lower in my projections, like a touch lower. But I mean, he's just not slowing down. Like they're just so it makes it hard for me to find bets on him. But I would lean over here, to be honest, 30.5.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, Dort, I probably wouldn't play. You want like teams selling out to stop Shea for Dort games. Even though I will say I've kind of been on the Dort 1.5 threes wagon. Just like last year, I know he had ridiculous home road splits, and 1.5 is just like really low line for Dort. But I want it against a team that's gonna like sell out to stop Shea personally. I probably would not play it still. No. Crusoe, yeah, that's a great line, dude. 3.5 rebounds. Where the hell did you get that at, dude? What? 3.5 rebounds and assists. Oh my gosh. That's actually crazy. J-Dub, do you have an opinion on J-Dub? I personally don't. I think J-Dub's just like, I don't like a 19.5 line for him when I know he's like making 1-3 max, you know? Like he can't shoot threes with his wrist.
Yeah, that is the problem. And it's not going to be a game where they force the ball out of SJ's hands, and I think there's a massive chance of blowout. I've got him at 26 minutes here, and 20 points, 26 minutes doesn't add up for him.
Yeah,
for me.
Yep. No, I tend to agree there. Let's see. Is there anything else we're gonna add? I don't think I'm gonna actually add anything. I like that Jordan Goodwin look. If that looks like that moved up, people must be stream sniping.
If there was a line for Dylan Brooks mid-range shots, I'd bet it.
Dylan Brooks mid-range shots.
I think it'd have to be really high for me not to bet it.
I might, I don't know. I don't think anything really. Yeah, Dylan Brooks is going to be, he's going to be chucking biddies. Okay, well, let's move on to Spurs and Lakers here. Liam, we'll give you the stage here. Well, you can talk about you can boast about your Spurs for a little bit.
There's not much. Hang on, I'm actually just taking a look. What's Dylan Brooks' field goal attempts on Bet365? They get rid of that market. They did. They got field goals attempted. What's your guess, Ty?
For Brooks?
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's at 18.5.
Yeah, 18.5. I'd take the 8.5 over the 20.5 points in it.
Yeah,
an absolute heartbeat. All right, but let's talk about the Spurs. I think we're going to lose. I took a little bit of Lakers 5.5 yesterday. I think it's now at 7.5. 7.5, yeah, 7. So last time we played against the Lakers, there was no Austin Reeves, no LeBron James, which might have made a bit of a difference, but we were very, very aggressive against Luka. So that's sort of happening again today with Reeves and LeBron. I think we'll a little bit because we've done it to a lot of these really good ball handlers. He got 27 shots up. It was 9 of 27. It was a really close game. It looks like from that, you're like, oh, that volume is massive. 27 field goal attempts, 14 free throw attempts. I think a little bit of that is there was literally there was no Reeves, no LeBron. So, of course, his field goal attempts are going to be high. He shot 9 for 27 because a lot of it was ISO stuff outside of 3. So not funny thing about that game, not only did he have 17 field goal attempts, I reckon 5 or 6 of those shots were the ones where he's shooting, trying to draw a foul, and there's no chance the shot goes in. Like he's running into someone and then putting it up. So I think we will be aggressive against him today. Out of all the Lakers stuff, really, there's nothing I love. Would lean Reeves over 23.5 points potentially. But the Spurs, my favorite bet of the day is on the Spurs, which has now moved, unfortunately, but it's Fox over 23.5 points. He's a guy that I've noticed watching us that we don't have without Wemby, we don't have a really high usage rate guy. A lot of it is swing, make plays. And there's been a couple times when the game's close at halftime and then in the third quarter, he's like, all right, I'm going to really be aggressive here. And he'll start doing a lot. So I think this is a game with it being a cup game. I don't think the Lakers have anyone on ball for him at all. I think this is a game where he's super aggressive, and I'm probably going to bet this. And I also have value with what I've done so far in the 30+ markets. So I'm going to have a nibble at that as well. Castle is interesting. He played 23 minutes last game. So some people think that's a minutes restriction. I think it might be a bit of that, but also Dylan Harper last game was unbelievable, and he closed over him. So I think Castle, I've got him at 28 minutes here. Harper won't be at 26 minutes here either, unless he's playing really good. He'll be in the low 20s. So yeah, I think this is the Fox game. I think this is a bit of a Keldon Johnson game as well, to be honest. I mean, look at the green on that chart, Ty, for his points.
I don't know.
He only played 17 minutes last game, but that was I think that was more because of who was it? Barnes, I think it was. Where's Harrison Barnes? Yeah, Barnes played 35 minutes and Barnes was like absolutely lights out. So that very unlikely to happen again. I've got Keldon here at low 20s per minute, so I don't mind his PRA, his PR, all that stuff. I also think it's a pretty good matchup for him. Lakers are a fucking dreadful defensive team. And he should be able to, he's been really good at crashing the offensive glass. So I think that'll continue. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Spurs.
Yep. So I'll chime in. Keldon, this seems like, I mean, dude, this like seems like oh, if I bet it, this is like gonna lose, Just like looking at this show.
Oh yeah, I just saw your chart.
but I think you can make a case that like there's no way you can play Kelly Olynyk against a team with like these offensive players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you can't play him like more than like 4. You can like try it out and like it's gonna go like shit, and then Sohan just.
And he was fucking awful.
Yeah. He's like a good vet probably at this point, and maybe we can eat some garbage minutes against the Pelicans or something. But yeah, I don't know about the Cup game. So then it's like you have Sohan, who I also think is like a fringe like non-NBA guy, and I'm sure he'd help defensively for sure, but he's just gonna muck it up offensively. I actually think that there's a decent chance that like Keldon, especially if you guys are like down like 15 in like the fourth quarter, like you might see like Keldon close at the 5 or something like that. I think that's definitely like in the range of outcomes at least too. So yeah, and so here's my take on Fox. Honestly, Liam, would you rather just go because and I think people like the one maybe gripe you could pick is like only 30 minutes first game with Castle and Harper or whatever. Dude, here's the thing. I don't know why you'd take Fox off the court when like he's just gonna every time he drives, every time he dribbles, he's just probably gonna create an advantage, right? Like no matter what their scheme is, which by the way, the Lakers are giving up a shit ton of pull-ups recently and on the year. But whatever their scheme is, it's just gonna be an advantage, right? You put it's Barnes come screen for him and get Luka into the action. Go, just who's even gonna guard him to start? Like Reeves? Like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. So yeah, LeBron, bring that old ass here. So I wouldn't mind going PA either too, because you might get some kickouts, you might get some a little bit overhelping, especially like if he comes out frying, which he'd probably go over his points on anyways. But dude, what are your thoughts on 23.5 points versus 29.5 PA?
I'll say with Fox as well regarding the minutes. So last half, he played 13 minutes in the first half, and we were up by 21 points at halftime. So clearly Spurs not needing to go flat knacker. He played 16 or 17 minutes the next half, and that was with the game being closer, and that was with also Harper being insane. So the rotation is Fox. So Fox and Castle starts, and then Fox goes off after 4 or 5 minutes, and then Harper comes on, and then Fox comes back in for Castle after 9 minutes or so. But last game, Harper was really good, so they left Harper out there in the fourth quarter for a bit longer as well. So I don't think you have to worry about Fox's minutes. He'll get 34 to 36 here pretty easily, unless this game's a blowout, which if it is, that'll fucking suck for me. But yeah, you don't have to worry about his minutes. I just think take his points. It's my favorite bet of the day. The points. I don't understand why it's so low. I guess you could make the argument that with Castle, his touches and stuff drop. But yeah, this is sort of a high leverage game, and the Spurs have talked about it, where apparently they're all playing so they can buy David Jones Garcia a Lamborghini. That's the motivation. So Fox is going to do it for David Jones Garcia.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Cool. No, I do like that. So I mean, what are your thoughts on how they defend Castle? Because I think that Castle might be one of those guys that it comes down, and we're only talking about overs on the Spurs. But to be honest, dude, I really think this is an over game. Like I said, I think that the Spurs won't be able to guard the Lakers, and I don't think the Lakers will really be able to guard the Spurs either. So I actually don't really hate going over heavy for this one. But Liam, Castle, I feel like he's the type of guy, because we've seen Redick scheme against guys and just leave guys open sometimes. We see with Chris Dunn here and there. Not saying Stephon Castle's like Chris Dunn. That's a little bit disrespectful, but I don't know, man. Do you think there's a chance, there's a world where Castle's kind of getting left open, and he has a 8 for 18 field goal attempt game or something?
Yeah, so he's the guy he's the guy that would happen to that you'd leave open. Because we play a lot of Barnes, Champagny, Vassell, who are all good, really good spot up shooters. So Castle is the guy, and I remember last time it's hard to speak about film from last time we played them because Wemby played, and Wemby was just such a magnet. So the defensive scheme would be completely different. But I do think there's a chance of that. Like Lakers have done that before against non-shooters, 100%. So I do think there's a chance. Waiting for the pre-game press conference with Mitch Johnson to see if anyone asks about any minute limit or any of that stuff for Castle to get a better gauge. But right now I've got about 28 minutes. I'd lean over PRA for him right now, but we'll see when the minute limit comes.
Okay. Liam, so the next person I want to talk about here, and then we'll get to some of your questions after this. Rui Hachimura, do you think there's a world, and this 15.5 does seem kind of low, but if you look at a lot of his games, they've kind of been barely coming over. Obviously, if you just do it with Reeves and Luka this year, and maybe let's do 8 and 2, just to get a better sample. He's over an 8 out of 12, and the Spurs defense isn't exactly in peak form. They might be aggressive on Luka and stuff. But do you think you could make a case for more Gabe Vincent minutes and less Rui? Because we all know that Reeves, Luka, LeBron aren't losing minutes. They're probably going to run 48 minutes of Ayton and Hayes as well. So it's if they need to get one of these guards in to play defense on literally Harper, Castle, or Fox, it's going to be Rui who's going to come his minutes are going to come at the expense of that. So, do you have an opinion on Rui unders, or is the matchup kind of scary?
I think it's a good per-min spot for him. That's the thing. And also the other thing I have about that is I could 100% see them going small.
Yeah.
Which would be 8.
Okay. I guess I got one last question for you. We didn't talk. What's a stream? Oh wow! And the line I got steamed the hell up. I like LeBron at 6.5 assists earlier today, but yeah. Do you have any LeBron opinions? Is he back after his little showing in Philly? Is he gonna? Because to be honest, dude, he's probably gonna get guarded by Barnes, right? And I'm pretty sure LeBron's minutes too is it kind of. He's playing the first 6 minutes, I think, and then kind of coming in for the backup minutes where the Spurs aren't going to have Cornet on, which could be a slaughter fest. But do you have any opinions on Durham here?
No, I'd lean over because I can see this being a spot where his minutes skyrocket as well. So definitely lean over.
Okay. You like the matchup though?
Yes, I like the matchup.
Okay, I do too. Okay, let's go over here real quick. And guys, by the way, if you guys are seeing what's behind me on the screen and you're wondering what this is, it is Props Madness. It is a search tool in the market for NBA, in my opinion. I'm sure Liam can vouch. Liam, would your process be hard without Props Madness?
Yes, I'll say Props Madness. What it does really well is it makes the research time go a lot shorter because it's got all the filters there for you. So say I've got a guy at certain minutes, certain usage rate, certain touches. I can then put all that stuff into the filter and it shows me those games over large sample sizes. So I would say, yeah, Props Madness really good for cutting down on time. Very, very, very good.
Yeah, but very good for new bettors too. I think the best thing about Props Madness is I remember when I wasn't even in Nintendo what the hell I was doing. And just understanding play types and scoring zones, what defenses funnel shots, Props Madness's graphics make it very, very easy to see what a defensive scheme is and stuff like that. So it teaches you the game too. I think that's a big part of it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, what are we doing? Questions now? I think we kind of got our opinions out on this. Okay. Let's do some questions here. So Jackson Hayes under 0.5 assists. I have no clue, dude. I actually have zero clue. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that Swish. I'm sorry. Do you, Liam?
No, it's on all the Mickey books that I can't bet on, so I don't really look at it. But I assume the angle would be you've got him for really low minutes, and you've got, which I could say that because I don't think Lakers need to go big against the Spurs second unit. So I guess that's the angle.
I also would not be surprised if Hayes did get a couple dunks in though against 4.5 though sounds okay. I thought it was going to be like 3.5 or something. I wouldn't be shocked if Hayes got a putback and a lob or two though, even if he played a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I believe they're. Oh, let's see what we're doing. Harrison Barnes. Do you like Harrison Barnes threes? What the case I think you can make? I think you kind of think Barnes is a little bit interesting. I think you're kind of buying high on Barnes to an extent, but Liam, do you have any Barnes thoughts?
Our commentator calls him Mr. 100% because whenever the game's on the line and he takes a shot from the corner, it's in every time. But I think he's a guy who's actually scaled up his offense with Wemby out. 100%. There's been some games where we obviously there's been some absolute shitters, but I would never bet the under here because Barnes is the sort of guy where like if he makes his first couple shots, then he's gonna exceed 12.5 points with field goal attempts alone, just because of the way he plays. Like he's actually he's a guy that's sort of got the blinders on. Like when he gets the ball in an ISO or something, he's not passing it. He's always taking it to the rim or doing something. So yeah, I'd lean over for Barnesy.
Yeah, Bonzi. Keldon Johnson. Yeah. We talked about Keldon Johnson. We like Keldon Johnson for sure. Weird, smart nuke game. So yeah, so the weird thing too about like the smarter Vincent angle, if like they do want to get some more point of attack defense in there, is like I weirdly think so. Smart's been out for a while now, and I weirdly think like Vincent would be like the better guy. Smart's kind of like Smart is someone you want to put on like bigger body guys who are physical, right? I don't think you want to put Smart on like a finesse, like a De'Aaron Fox, quick twitch guy. But yeah, I don't know. I think that like the minutes could be weird between Smart and Vincent. I don't think they've both shared the floor together in a while. I know Smart's been out for a little while, so
they don't have any. I'll tell you. Hang on, I'll find a few right now, but they really don't have anyone for Fox.
No, it's Gabe Vincent's their best shot, and Gabe Vincent. You don't want
Smart's a good guy for Castle, but not for Fox.
Yep. Yes, Fox. We are on Fox stuff. Everyone on Fox Vegas calling coming.
We're not going to get put up. And Marcus Smart have only shared 29 non-low leverage minutes together this season.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that like you're going to get massive minutes from Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. So, I think they could play smaller maybe, but then Ayton could eat.
I'm going to say no because that defense without him is just so bad that you like need him out there because I think we got like 120, 119 defensive rating, 118 with him on the floor, which still is like average, a little bit below average compared to when he's off the floor. We're the worst defensive team in the league by a mile. So I think he's going to be in for big minutes.
Yep. And do you think is there any correlation? I don't think it really affects.
I don't think so. You could argue there's, I think maybe like 1 or 2 minutes because, whenever there's a rotation goes from like 9 players to 10 players.
Yeah.
Naturally, maybe a couple guys there's like 4 or 5, 6 guys that get squeezed down by 1 or 2 minutes, but not position wise because Johnson's in the Barnes, Champagny, Sohan group of rotation, and what you do have the risk you always have with Keldon minutes is if Barnes and Champagny are cooking, he'll play 15 minutes because those you want spacing out there. But if they're not, he can easily push up in like mid-20s, low 20s. Especially, I'll also say, as someone who follows the Spurs, this bloke's like the heart and soul of the team. So it wouldn't surprise me in this sort of game if he's the one where he's a bit of a fire starter because his passion and energy is like contagious as fuck. So wouldn't surprise me if that alone pushes his minutes up a little bit here.
Yeah, like you guys get down, like Luka comes out and has like 15 in the first quarter, and Keldon, it's like brings a spark, and now it's a game again or something.
Yeah, you bring Keldon on, and he would like throw himself at every offensive rebound. He'll dive on the floor. He'll like be yelling throughout the whole game. He's that sort of player.
Yeah. So Rui stuff, like I said, I'm just skeptical of Rui stuff. I like if he got chip minutes here, I just wouldn't be surprised. So I probably wouldn't touch Rui stuff. Liam, is you kind of thinking the same, or?
I think I see paths to both ways. Yeah. So when that happens, I just don't want to bet it.
Fox cooks. He can have the blinders on.
That is true. That's true.
We lean over on Barnesy. Lakers can't stop guards. They'll be fine. Lifelong Laker fan, trust me. Yeah. Well, look who you got playing the 1 and the 2.
Actually, Ty, click on Vassell.
Where? Oh, Vassell.
I think another a thing that makes the Spurs sometimes hard to bet on is once every 3-4 games, Vassell has a magnet ball game, and when that happens, the offense is directed through him. So that game against Cleveland, he had 25 at half. Against Denver, that's the game we needed to win to advance in the cup. He was fucking lights out that game against Denver. So yeah, that is the worry, because he's a guy that he's a tough shot maker, tough shot taker, which can hurt you or you can love him. So that is a thing to watch early for. If you're a live bettor, I think it's one to watch early. If Vassell's cooking, I wouldn't touch any Spurs props, because his volume can get up to the high teens, low 20s.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Castle going to get baited into fouls. Yeah, that's a good thing too. Yeah, is Castle going to be the primary on Luka? That's actually a really good point.
Last time we played against Lakers, I think we had 3 or 4 players foul out, which is pretty funny. Castle will be. I think this is a game where Sohan gets some minutes, because I think Sohan has defended Luka maybe not well, but not. He's been serviceable in the past, so I could see Sohan play the job on him. But yeah, Castle will be his primary defender. Castle, he's usually pretty good at staying out of foul trouble. Castle, he's pretty strong, so he doesn't ever really need to overexert himself in any direction or jump at anything. But yeah, I mean, of course, there's a chance. But fingers crossed. Last game, the reffing I noticed in both games was pretty lenient. Bit close to 2.
Lakers have a different whistle though, bro.
I know, mate.
Reeves and Luka are getting every call, especially on like a Castle or something. I
know, but still, fingers crossed. Actually, last time we played them, that game on November 5th, don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure I most free throw attempts to overtime. So, the whistle could be out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. Is there any other good one? Let's see. Ayton overs. I think we talked on that. I don't have an opinion on Ayton. You, Liam?
No.
Marcus Smart's tough to gauge with. I'm torn between him and Vincent. Honestly, I don't have an opinion on that either. No, I probably would not play it still. Harper overs. Honestly, I don't like Harper overs, Liam. I don't know. What do you? I don't think we really talked much about Harper.
Harper's I wouldn't bet it at the number. I wouldn't mind it at 10.5, but he's really good. But the worry is if Fox or Castle, any of them starts well. So you see last game he played 26 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He closed that game, so that's really 22 minutes. If anything, I'd probably lean under, because I don't think he's against. But I don't like the Lakers defense. I was really hoping actually after last game when he played well, I'm like, wow, if we were versing a good defensive team next, he'd be a great under spot, because, I mean, more often than not, he won't be playing 26 minutes. That only happens when he's cooking. And he's a great player, but less likely than not. I probably wouldn't go overs. I wouldn't bet unders either.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Between Bar and Shemp, who do you lean more on the threes line, dude? Oh my gosh. I actually have no clue.
That's fucking lottery.
That's roulette, dude. I got it right with I think Champagne and Barnes both had really good 3-point games last game. So we haven't talked about Champagne. I like good players.
We have a lot of solid players that can play. Yep. Look at last game against Pelicans. Look at his minutes.
29. Yeah, he hit 3 threes in the first quarter. That'll buy you some minutes.
That's because he was playing well, same as Barnes. So
hot hand thing.
So him, Barnes, and Keldon are sort of the 3 that play that position. So the minutes sort of chop and change who's playing well, which you can't really predict before the game. So these things are better to bet when instead of picking between 3. So instead of having 2 guys play a position with 3 available, and then it just depends on who's playing well, because that's not super easy to predict. It's better when there's only 2 that play to the position, and that the minutes are locked, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Someone said
could easily play 20 minutes.
I disagree with this. Cornette is not a cone. He's a good defender.
He's a very good defensive player.
Yeah. In a blowout, who plays more, Casey or AJ? AJ for sure.
Corner left. Wait, if the guy's talking about if he's out on 3 with Luka, then yes, he's a cone.
Yeah.
But
okay. Well, we're at the 45-minute mark, so that's going to wrap it up. As always, guys, love pretty much the play that we both consensusly agree on is Fox, and Keldon is like very interesting at his 15.5 PR. I'm going to give Keldon one last glance and probably wind up playing him at 15.5 PR. But Liam, you said you like Lakers spread, or does it stay off at 7 now?
To start at 7, I got a bit of 5.5 yesterday. Just had a little nibble myself, but I wouldn't bet 7.5.
Okay. Was there anything else we had super strong conviction on? I don't really think so.
Not really.
To be honest, I'm going to look back into LeBron at 18.5. I don't know, man. I think that this matchup is really, really good for him. And if Liam, if you're right about Luka getting some super aggressive coverages, I think that especially like with that overlap he should get against his second unit man and his primary.
We're gonna get fucking smacked. I can already tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this LeBron one is kind of speaking to me, man. So I'm gonna give that one a look again and potentially edit. But okay, guys. As always, guys, make sure to follow Liam on X at Ozbets. Liam, is there anything you got for us before we head up?
Hope everyone wins their bets today, and go Spurs, go.
Yeah, yes, sir. Oh, sorry, Dave. Yeah, super. We started it late, man. We've been doing it at weird times because these games are just like 2-game slates and starting at different times. So go Spurs. Honestly, go Spurs, bro. Who wants the Lakers to win in here? Like, come on.
Fucking oath. Well, unless you go for the Lakers, but fuck the Lakers.
Yeah, unless you go for the Lakers.
They get everything. They get the whistle.
They get it.
It's good for the small market teams to win.
Dude, their free throw differential is insane, bro. Honestly, hold up. I kind of actually want to look at it before we go because whenever I do my funnels, right, I'm always checking to see who allows the fewest free throws. And so, like, Lakers, they're allowing – this is the last 10, but I guess we go the full season. They are allowing the third fewest free throw attempts, and then we do teams' general stats and free throw attempts. Oh, the fourth, like a 7 free throw differential. And I can guarantee you, like that would make sense, right? When you have like good defenders who don't need to foul, right?
But they don't.
And they definitely don't.
They have a good whistle, but it sort of makes sense. I mean, a lot of the big clubs in the world in all sports get the rub of the green.
Yep, for sure. Well, anyways, guys, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. If you don't mind, hit that like and sub button on the way out on YouTube. Follow me on X at TypeNSB if you're tuning in on Twitter. And catch you guys next time.